Okay, let's do it. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the second National Asian Heritage Month Symposium. Before we begin our session, I would like to mention that the festival Aqsa Azi recognizes that all its activities are located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Kenyan Kihaka people, who are the traditional custodian of the land and the waters on which we gather today. Montreal is historically known as a gathering place for many First Nation, and today a place of life for a diverse Aboriginal population and other people. The work that we do on behalf of the Festival Aqsa Azi is from the perspective of honoring, protecting, and sustaining the land and its people who were first on this territory. We strive to go beyond just acknowledging the land and wave in indigenous knowledge, share principles, and invite you to move beyond the acknowledgement and into the action. Hello, my name is Khosrow Bahmandi, and I'm the artistic director of the festival Aqsa Azi. And I'm tonight hosting a very dear guest, Madhu Verma, who happened to come to our first national symposium 10 years ago. And I'm so glad and happy that she's here now, and we can continue our discussion that began 10 years ago. So I'll do a little presentation of Madhu. She's from Fredericton and is one of the earlier Indian immigrants who arrived in Fredericton in 1963. So she adopted volunteerism as a career and became a community and social activist. At present, Madhu holds the positions of funding chair, Asian Heritage Society of New Brunswick, funding board member of New Brunswick Multicultural Council and Multicultural Association of Fredericton, member of New Brunswick Women Council, member of Fredericton Police Force Cultural Diversity and Advisory Committee, member of the Regional Ethno-Cultural Advisory Committee. Since 1964, she has served on the board of several local, provincial, and national organizations and helped to organize a number of workshops and conferences. She has also presented brief discussion papers on immigration and refugee policies, immigrant women issues, domestic violence, international arranged marriage, anti-racism issues, intercultural and human rights education, and employment equality issues. Madhu was a Canadian delegate at the United Nations World Conference Against Racism in 2001 and was the recipient of the following awards and medals: Governor General Medal, Queen Gold Jubilee and Queen Diamond Jubilee medals, National Citation for Citizenship Award, New Brunswick Human Rights Award, Lifetime Achievement Awards from MCAF and NBMC. And she's a top 25 Canadian Immigrant Award from RBC. So welcome to our second symposium. And as I said, I have the honor to have known Madhu from our first gathering here in Montreal. Unfortunately, this time our connection is on the air, it's not it's on the internet, and it's not physical. So, but again, I'm happy that we managed to have her among us today. To first of all celebrate all this achievement that she has worked so hard to arrive at, and at the same time to listen to her experience regarding her life as an Asian immigrant here in Canada. So I invite Madhu to speak and present her presentation. Go ahead, Madhu.
Well, thank you very much for the introduction, and I'm so pleased to see you after 10 years.
Yes.
Well, my title of the talk is Uniting Communities in New Brunswick with the Sound of Music.
Mm-hmm.
So I came, as you mentioned, 1963 to Fredericton when my husband got a teaching position in UNB in the Department of Physics. So those days were total, I think, 3 families, Asian families in New Brunswick. So
Wow.
first time when I went out wearing my Punjabi dress, and the people looked at me and then they say, when did you come here? I say, just recently. Oh, from where do you come? I say, from India. Why did you come here? I say, that my husband knows, not me, because he brought me here. And then somebody else came and they told me, well, you know, this country is too cold for you. So you better go back. So this type of question made me think, if next time they ask my children the same question, how they are going to answer that. So I say, well, what I can do? Because people were talking only this thing, when are you going back? Nothing else. So I say, how I start the communication with locals, communities. So because my husband was in UNB professor, so there were about 20 Asian students when I came in the university. So they were in my age. I was very young, and I think I was the first imported bride in whole North America, because through arranged marriage. so, so those students, we were a good company to each other. So what I got involved with the students' activities. So university gave them some funds to organize the cultural night, Indian cultural night. So that was a great opportunity for me. And in India, I learned few years playing sitar.
Oh, nice.
So that made me, I say, okay, I will help you organizing India night and where I can play my sitar. So they said, oh, that's great. So first time, and when I was on the stage, Felisa will show that slides. A young little girl sitting with sitar, and luckily I found another student. Could play tabla. So we both on the stage, I played sitar, he played tabla, and there were all the faculty members and some people from the community. They came to see our show. So when they heard my sitar, I mean, and then they got very anxious. So after the show, they came to me and they were talking, asking some questions. So I say, wow. So that is my channel to communicate with local community. So luckily on those days, Ravi Shankar, well-known sitar player,
Of course.
and he came to West.
Oh,
And the Beatles met him.
wow.
They made the Indian music really very popular. They went India later on and learned Indian music. And Ravi Shankar even was traveling more in the West. So that how, with the sound of music, East met West. So this was a great opportunity I was organizing. So university, this our cultural program became very popular, and we have to go in the playhouse where we have a seats for 600 people. So then this was in 60 story, and then 1970, when our President Trudeau introduced the multiculturalism policy and declared Canada as a multicultural country. So that opened a lot of doors for us. So we, as Indo-Canadian group, we sub ladies, we used to get together and we did some folk dance because of our cultural night. So they invited us to participate in first multicultural national festival in Ottawa. And of 10 ladies, we all went and we did a stick dance. Probably now you know it's a Gujarati Ras they called. It's a very colorful dance. And in the front of the parliament, they set up the stage and oh, we had a fun there. So that gave kind of developed a lot of interest when our group was selected for the first multicultural festival, and we were the only Indian group from Fredericton. So when we came back, I continued, I said, now our next generation also needs some training. So with the help of the multicultural department, the funds we got, and we got that grant to have a training for the children. So we got a professional teacher from Ontario, and she stayed in Fredericton for 2 months to teach Indian classical and folk dances to our children. So that really opened the door to join the other groups like a Scottish country dance and Irish and all the other group, because some of the students, they came to learn Indian dance from our teacher. So we got connected again, this time with the sound of our gungru, what we wear when we dance, because we all were dancing. So that was a great opportunity. So getting together, learning the dance, and these students, they learned from 10 years from the same teacher, and they got the opportunities even to performing in the other national festivals. Then we formed the Folk Arts Council in New Brunswick, and there was a National Folk Arts Council. So we were quite busy with our this cultural activity. But again, I think my main purpose was introducing ourselves to the local community and work together, dance together, play music together. So they learn about the diversity. And we build up a better, close relationship with the Asian community, with the locals. So this was our cultural activity where we got involved. I am the founding member of Multicultural Association and Provincial and many other. So they were very active groups. So they, when they looked at us, they say, now we want a multicultural festivals. So we were with all the group, with Scottish dance or Irish or Ukrainian or all Asian groups. I was the organizer of those festivals every year. Then Canada Day came, and then we got involved there. So this laid the foundation for us to, the foundation, and got ready when Canadian government declared May as the Asian Heritage Month. So I read in my Indian, our newspapers used to come. We didn't have this kind of system what we have today. You can connect through the website to all the groups. No, it wasn't like that. So I heard the Senator Poy's name there, that she made a motion, and our Senator Kinsella, he was a speaker of the Senate, so he seconded that, and I know Senator Kinsella very well. And then I called Mrs. Poy's office, Senator Poy's office. I say, how come we and our provincial government even doesn't know that federal government has declared May as the Asian Heritage Month? So anyway, I got very interested. I was on the board of Multicultural Association, and so I just mentioned, I say, well, we would like to have our own kind of committee. So we 4 or 5 of us got together, one from Chinese community, from South Asian community, and we formed the Asian Heritage Society of Fredericton first. And I went to the mayor, and I say, well, this is what plan I have. And so he welcomed me. He said, Madhu, you are going to do this celebration right in the city hall, and this big hall is for you. And where the provincial from the MLA and they came, and this was our first to start with. So then after that we have.
Excuse me, Madhu, what year was this? What year
This was
was
the year 2002.
2000?
Yeah, 2002 when they announced Asian Heritage Month, Canadian government, when the goal and objectives was that our old history of Asian Canadians should be recognized, and also their contribution to build our nation. So this, my work was like that Asian community, they work very hard and they are in every field. They are here, there are Asian students, and some of them got settled here, that medical doctor, engineers in all field. In 2002 at least, they were everywhere. I mean, I'm talking about our small province, New Brunswick. So this way we have kind of showing our contribution with the history. So the first ever project on the Asian Heritage Month, we got a material from Exploration from Vancouver, early history, and that's what the second year we display. So, okay, look at that, guys. We were here many years before. Don't think that in 63 when I came and you wanted me to go back because why are you here? So I say, look, the history. And the second, we focus on the Asian Nobel Laureate. So that way they know the contribution, this Asian, I mean, all around the world, how they are contributing. So then we set up, every year we used to have a focus on topic we select, but our main goal was education. And of course, then we have a cultural gala, what I will show you. It was in the two-part, education and the cultural and art, what we brought with us. So then we start looking all the community, our members. So like Chinese community, they were quite active, the Philippine community and the Korean community and South Asian. And so then we started focus on them, and we did a research work to take to their history, past history, when they came, and did all the research work. And also then we identified some of the outstanding from the same community. And in the, so those people developed a poster and put in there was government big building, the hallway, they allowed us to have the exhibition for 1 month. So a public can visit them and they read about us. And so this is, we continue quite a few years. We had a focus on Chinese, we have a focus on Iranian, on the Philippines, and all other group, and again on the South Asian. And once we had a display on the culture and traditions of Asian, some countries. So it was mainly education, but at the same time, we also had a cultural program, gala. And Corso, you helped us a lot. Because in New Brunswick, some groups we have, some we don't have. The Asian, yes. We wanted to show that others also, they are in Canada, I mean, they are getting settled, and how good artists are. And so what we, in the gala, we used to divide the time, half for our local groups, and half of the time we were giving to the group which you got from Montreal. Indonesian group came, and so I will show you the slides that how many groups we got, the Chinese and
Iranian, Philippines. For a few years we were working together.
Quite a few groups every year we were getting, and so it was a really fun. When the people saw that, you know, the art, how rich the Asians are with all kind of, you know, the dance and music. And so this was and we invited all three levels of government also. Our mayor, our provincial level, premier, or some ministers, they will come when we had the exhibition, they will there, and opening we did with our exhibition with the cultural program and then the gala. So we were quite actually encouraged, and the funding also came from the three level of the government. Our city gives us a little bit funding, and also the province gave us the funding, and also the federal government, Canadian Heritage Department, and the immigration, multiculturalism. So I think we are lucky. Only what we feel that they should give the funding for at least 3-year terms, because we are the one only one association, active, I might say, Asian Heritage Society in whole Atlantic region. And we have an office here. And Felisa Chand, she is working. So even 2002, we got the summer student. They were working at my own place at home. But after a few years, then we got, we applied for the funding for the office. So we have an office now. And we have a research work for we get a student summertime. So that's how we carry on all our activities. And then we have 3 chapters. We started from Fredericton, and now our St. John is a very active chapter, and Moncton and Miramichi is a small town, but they are very much interested when we get the groups from Montreal. So we send them there also, and the people, the way they look at that from Madhu, where did you get? I say, well, I have a friend. So I think we are very lucky in a way. I have a good relation with the government, 3 level of government, and they show a lot of respect of our work. What we are doing besides that, I am very active working anti-racism and human rights and women's issues. So I think this gains. We also held many conferences and the workshops and the talk shows, and even for this focus we have done in youth, Asian youth, and they wrote their stories, their challenges, the struggle, and because some of them, they have language barriers. And the women, we had a very focus was on outstanding Asian women, and those posters which we made and with little bit their story, and that also we played 1 month. So, and everybody, a lot of people were coming and reading that Asian women's success stories. So the youth, and so we are in both sides. As I say, with the sound of music, we could attract more people, because they feel that we are not doing only serious stuff, anti-racism, human rights, all that. But we talk about it there when people are there. So, and then I'm also very much involved now in the curriculum. Our province, they are looking the school curriculum from kindergarten to high school. And I was involved actually 40 years back, but what we see in their history and social study, they don't have much about Asians. They didn't have even from the Black community. They didn't have Aboriginal. So finally they did add Aboriginal history and the chapters in the history. And I think now they are adding in the Black communities history. And so I am emphasizing, I'm part of the committee, that the Asian history also be there. I say, well, we respect French and English of the founding nation, but the founding nation also have others. We join them, and equally we are playing the part here in every field. So our history should be recognized where we start. If the Chinese didn't come and build the railroad on those snowy mountains, I don't know what will happen, you know. I mean, look how many people sacrificed their life to build the railroad. So I think the school children, they should know our contribution from history, past and present. 2002, actually, when we started Asian Heritage Society, first thing I spoke there, and I put, well, we have a reason to celebrate. We have government had a reason to declare Asian Heritage Month because look, from railroad we build, now we are making what to call the internet highway connecting, and a lot of Asian young people came who helped in this what they call computerized highway, you know, when they were building those things. So we emphasize in also our contribution at same time with the art or culture, what we brought with us, and now we are going to one generation to others. So how much time I have, of course?
Oh, you have plenty of time. We have about another 23-4 minutes. Yes.
Because when I start speaking, I forget time.
No, go ahead. Continue, please.
So that's my weakness. So anyway, I think now recently what I see, we see that anti-racism chapter has, well, we have been talking actually because of our own experience. I have written almost quite a few pages. I am writing a book on Asian, South Asian immigrant who landed in New Brunswick, and I just added one chapter there on racism, what we experienced. We were talking about it, but we didn't see much action on the discrimination in the employment area, and especially in hiring. And so this is always there. Now New Brunswick wants a lot of number of their population immigrants they need, because our population is growing old and they need a young people. So when they open this immigration, now we are getting quite a few Asian, mainly Asian from India coming, from China and a few other, but I think major population is a South Asian and Chinese, and then we have others also. So this is the time really we need a kind of education. They're bringing highly educated people, but when they come here, finding the employment is a struggle. So we are talking about this thing, and actually this year, our project was, because we want to put some attention on our social custom and culture. Head covering, I think, we know in Quebec what is happening. So I thought we should have some discussion with the multi-faith group and see the history and culture of the head covering, and because Sikh community is there with the turban, and from Middle Eastern, the women, they cover their head. So I don't think why people don't like that. Are they looking their work, and or they are looking how they dress up and where they are really, you know. So we thought we should do the project this year on the head covering, but because of this virus problem, we couldn't do it, but that was the plan. And one way I want to see that Canadian Heritage Department, this multi-faith and this education part was not included. They didn't include this, but last year we have seen that the multi-faith discussion or some project, So we have submitted that we want to see that kind of history of the head covering and understanding their faith-based values and culture. And so, but unfortunately, we couldn't do this one, but we have a 3-4 students working with us, and they are continuing with the research work. So maybe we will next year, if we can do a big gathering. But social media, we are putting this year lot of on the racism and custom and culture, little piece, because whatever we couldn't have a face-to-face gathering, round table discussion. So we carried out with the idea that, okay, social media, I don't know who is reading, who is not reading, but we are trying our best. So this is the story of course, is the New Brunswick or eastern part. So Multicultural Association, they are doing they are kind of settlement agencies. We have a 13 multicultural association around the province, and then we have a provincial organization, and we meet very often. And the government, 3 level of government, I mean, they also participate. They come and speak on the immigration policy and how to get settled and want to retain them. And so I always get up, I say, sure, they would love to stay, because New Brunswick is a beautiful place, really. You know, once you come, you don't feel like going anywhere. But, but they want a job. They have to pay the rent. And fortunately or unfortunately, all of a sudden, there are a lot of immigrants coming and we don't have a housing for them. This is a big problem in New Brunswick, what we see, because it's being a small province, and they didn't need those many buildings, really. And all of a sudden, the immigrant came, and then the housing problem is such it's difficult to find the place, because I work with immigrants, and first thing when they land here, they say, well, please help us finding the place to live. So there is a lot of challenges we are having our province, and as a community who we are working with, our Asian Heritage Society's office and the multicultural, they are in the same building. So some of immigrants, they don't need a language because they are having a teaching the English as a language to the new immigrant who need that. But some immigrants, they don't need that. They are qualified, their English is very good, and that's how they were accepted. So, but they come to us to get connected with the community. And wherever, you know, like a housing or employment, or so they ask us to, if we could help them. And we try our best. And then I speak whenever I go in these meetings where the politicians are sitting. Then so I say, well, just getting immigrant is not enough. We also have to see that they get settled, their children in the school. They should be very comfortable, and that's where we are pushing into this, their social study and history. They should add Asian and others. So if there is, so the children who are coming from Asia or Middle East or where, so they could reflect, they could learn, they have a maybe communication among with the other students, because we find here some of the newcomers, children in the school, they say we cannot make the friends because people sometimes they don't open up. So this is where we go as a Asian Heritage Society. We go to the school even with the cultural program and our poster in the education what we have developed, and we display there. So we are trying really to, so the newcomers have a comfortable life here and do the contribution. So So this is where we are we are doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So besides only promoting art and culture, you are also involved in social aspect of the newcomers and the immigrant communities. That's fantastic. And this is what differs you from other Asian heritage art organization. And this is very beautiful in Canada. All different organizations have different characteristics, and that's why putting them all together would make a very fantastic mix. And another the reason behind this symposium is to learn and hear about these different experiences, and then use it in our own city. So thank you very much for sharing all this information. I believe you have a
Some
slide.
slide can we show?
Yes, please. Yes. You
Lisa?
usually present Felicia Chan as well. Felicia has been working with you for over, I believe, at least 10 or 15 years now, no?
Yeah, no, there was a Monica Sharma
Ah,
first,
Monica. Yeah, that was Monica.
and then Felisa came. So,
Yes.
no, we always get a very good staff, it's just like a family working together.
Yes, for sure.
And that's how, and she helps us a lot. They don't count their hours here.
Yes, I
Because
know, I know.
we are busy, we keep them busy.
When there is work to be done, people are working. That's the way it goes, for sure.
Yeah, no, I think it's an excellent idea. So we would like to get more connected with other groups and borrow their
Yes.
best practice, because what I mentioned, what issues we are working on.
Yes,
So
for
it's
sure.
the excellent idea to learn from each other.
Yes. What are we are doing after this symposium? We already began to work on it. It would be a collective work again across Canada with other organizations to create a national digital platform.
You are
So
ready now?
we can meet regularly and not waiting for a long day to have a symposium and get together, but on a sort of a regular basis we can meet and exchange and provide information for each other. But anyhow, I'll wait for this presentation to end, and then I have a couple of questions I'll ask.
Yeah, now Felisa, you want to sit here?
No, I think I can do it.
You're okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
she's there. I think you
How
have
is she
to, she has to unmute herself and put the camera on.
I have to mute?
Yeah,
I
you
have
mute
to
and,
leave?
yeah, you mute and she will unmute.
Okay, I will leave then. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I thought I leave.
Yeah, Felicia, can you unmute yourself?
But I don't see the screen.
Can you put the camera? There is a sign.
How come I'm not connected?
You are connected, we hear you.
Okay, start. Okay, the host has asked you to start your video. Okay,
Yes.
start my video.
Ah, yes, I see you now.
Can you see me? How come I don't have the screen where I can share?
Well, you are already on the screen. Move your mouth and then you will see in the bottom of the Zoom page, the share screen sign.
Maybe I have to enter again.
No, no, you are there. We see you. We hear you.
But
Yeah.
I cannot see
the share screen button.
Yes, the share. Yes.
Can you move your mouse on the page?
I don't see the Zoom.
But you must be on the Zoom right now.
Panel. Like
Because
the chat,
Yeah, right beside the chat on the right-hand side.
I don't see the chat. I don't see the screen share.
Ah, okay.
I don't
Did you
see the,
did you bring your mouse down to the bottom of the page? If you move your mouse, you should be able to see those buttons in the bottom. Josh, do you hear us?
Yes, I hear you. I was
Yeah.
messaging Felicia privately as well.
Okay. Do you know what we should do?
The share screen button should be on the bottom. It should be a green button right on the same bar where your video and microphone button is. It should
I
be
know,
on that same
yes, I
section.
know that, but I don't see anything.
Uh,
It's just Zoom.
okay.
I can
Oh,
see
maybe at the
Josh Rock.
top. Do you have it in full screen? Is there more options at the top?
Gee, okay. I don't see you, Josh, right now. I don't see anybody right now.
Okay. Maybe your camera is off because I can see you.
You can see me. Oh,
Yes.
so what's happening here? Oh, yeah, I don't see any panel on the Zoom. I mean, like, I don't see the chat through the. Okay, maybe I'll enter again.
Yes. Get out and then
Okay.
come in again. See if it
Yes,
works.
I'll come in again.
No problem. We wait for you. But thank you, people, for waiting for us until we get this little program worked out. This is our last conversation, our last presentation. There is another presentation right now happening at the same time. We have an international presenter from Cambodia who is presenting right now. So by the end of this presentation, the symposium ends its second day, and tomorrow is the day that we're gonna get together in each city and discuss these certain topics for breakout sessions. And then by end of the day, we will have Farah will have a leader summary of what happened over the last couple of days, and especially during the breakout sessions. And then hopefully from there, we can begin to work on a report to share with everybody else, and aim to go for our next symposium and begin to work on the platform, the digital national platform. Thank you again for being here. I'm gonna ask Josh and Felicia to see whether they managed to find the buttons. Felicia, is everything good? You seem to have the problem again.
Password.
Did you try to log out and log in again?
Yeah, I tried to log out. Let me see.
There is a leave button in the red button in the bottom of the page. It says leave. Maybe you should click on that and then come back again.
Let's see. Yeah, it says you are already in another meeting.
Oh,
Do you want to
but I
leave
can see you. You are with us.
and join this meeting?
Oh, now we lost you. We're gonna wait a few. Oh yeah, she's coming back.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Now, okay. I'll.
You see the share screen
Yes,
button?
yeah.
Ah,
Yes,
okay.
I see. Share
Welcome
screen.
back.
Yes. Okay. I don't know. Share screen.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Share.
Oh, okay, it's working.
Okay. Did you see that? Do you see it?
Ah, yes.
Okay. Is it in full screen?
No.
No. You see the slide.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we see the slideshow. Yes.
Yes. I will do this in full screen. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. But how come it doesn't want to?
Okay, but we can see. It's large enough. We can see.
You can see, but
Yes.
not on full screen, right? But
It's
I
not
tried
full
to
screen, but is
Okay, here now.
yeah, we got it.
Okay, good. Okay, I'll just show, okay. So this is maybe Madhu can talk here.
Yeah, Madhu, can you explain?
This is Madhu playing sitar.
Oh, wow. What year is this?
Okay, we'll do it very quickly, okay?
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
And this one we were sent to in Ottawa to participate in the first national multicultural festival. All the ladies are there. On the back, they have a 80 people orchestra for us.
Ah, okay.
And then we have a teacher, our young generation, they are learning a classical dance. So their picture. It's my daughter with the dress, and they went to the Expo 80 to Vancouver to perform.
Oh, wow, fantastic.
So this picture is, so they are there. And this is the Folk Art Council. We form, I'm the founding member. So we work with the other groups. So these are our girls who are performing there. Indian dance. And
What year is this? Can you tell us about the date? What the year are these pictures taken?
And they were children when they first we started.
Oh, wow.
Dance program. So this is one of the pictures was taken. So now we are going to the Asian Heritage Month.
Oh, yes.
So Senator.
Oh, the Santa Poi. Yes, yes.
Time.
And her husband, yes.
Brunswick, and she spoke about that and helped us. So I am very thankful to.
Yeah, of course.
Boy. And these are our, as I say, we used to focus on the different. And this exhibition shows this one of the exhibition which we did with our research work. And the other picture is I was speaking in the women's workshop. And this is our chapter in St. John.
Oh, perfect.
How active they are. So, and Moncton chapter, every year they celebrate, and all the Asian groups, they participate, and it's a beautiful work.
But all these activities happens during the month of May?
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
That all these activities happen during the month of May?
Yes, in May.
Yes.
We have all these festivals.
Just before you continue, just to remind you that we have about 1 minute. So in a minute, the session will end. So, but you can continue showing the photos. Go ahead.
So these are our on the gala pictures, some of them, and some Chinese dance, and then one artist. She's a very good artist. So her artwork we display in the art gallery. And these are the group you know, Carl.
Ah, of course.
Yes, these group all you know.
Yeah, these are groups from Montreal that came, yes.
Oh, they did a great job, you know.
Yes.
Everybody loved them. And this was a very emotional play
Yes.
when we were working on the refugees.
Yes. Oh, wow, fantastic. In case
So
if
these are
the time finishes and our conversation gets cut off, I'd like to thank you for participating in our symposium. And I hope that we continue working together, collaborating together, and creating this touring program between our festival and your festival. Our artists came to Fredericton, but we like to bring your artists here to Montreal as well. So I'll be in touch with you after this symposium to see whether we can work together to bring more artists here and then do more national touring with other cities as well. So create a national touring plan. And thank you also, Felicia, for helping us with this slideshow, which was wonderful and important document that I think we should have it somewhere kept for all other organizations as well to see the efforts that have been put to this to create these activities and keep them as an archive, as a national archive for our future, and then bring this up for our next generation, the children, to know that their parents, when they arrived here, what so kind of a life they had and what difficulties they went through in order to establish themselves. So this is very fantastic. I think our time is over now. And if you have anything else to mention, please go ahead. Hello, Madhu.
I can't hear you clearly for some reason. I'm not hearing properly.
Okay, I said our time is almost over, so I wanted to thank you and Felicia, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you again soon, and looking forward to do more collaboration with you. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you.